It literally like pisses me off when people are like, she's not the face of the league.
Who would be?
What?
Sabrina? No.
No, there's really good, well-known people in our league. I'm not discrediting them. Like, we have a lot of badasses in our league.
Yeah.
Like, hell yeah to that. I'm all for that. But when people try to argue that she's not the face of our league,
Yeah.
or if our league would be where we're at without her, you're dumb as
Yeah.
Sophie Cunningham just dropped a truth bomb that has the entire WNBA in complete chaos. During her brand new podcast debut, she looked straight into the camera and called anyone who denies Caitlin Clark is the face of the league literally dumb as fugger. No filter, no hesitation, just pure unfiltered reality. The internet is absolutely losing its mind, and honestly, it's about time someone said what we've all been thinking.
One of your teammates, arguably one of the biggest stars the WNBA's ever
Who's that?
had. Her name rhymes with Schmaitlin.
Kirtland?
Yeah. What has that been like, seeing her not only kind of transform a league, but also just be like,
No,
is that fair to say? Okay.
not even just the league, but like
The
women's
sport.
basketball as a whole around the
Yeah.
world. No, I think it's awesome. I think it's so funny because she's like 22, 23 years old and the whole world is watching her.
Yeah.
Like it is a cult following. I'm not kidding.
No, it's
But here's where it gets really interesting. This isn't just some random hot take from a bitter teammate. Sophie has literally put her career on the line defending Clark, getting into physical altercations, facing league fines, and even dealing with fans trying to get her completely banned from the WNBA. The woman has become Clark's unofficial bodyguard, and she's not apologizing for it.
Finally, someone who gets it. Finally, someone in the WNBA who understands this thing called business. I know this is a foreign concept. I know this is difficult for WNBA players to understand. I know they feel like they're entitled to be overpaid. I know they feel like they are owed a paycheck. But the WNBA does not exist to lift you out of poverty. David Stern did not create the WNBA to give women opportunity.
The brutal truth about what's been happening to Caitlin Clark behind the scenes is way worse than anyone realizes. We're talking about systematic targeting that goes far beyond normal rookie treatment. Players have been coming at her with elbows, blind screens, and what can only be described as straight-up assault disguised as basketball. It's gotten so bad that even opposing coaches have started whispering about it in private.
I mean, she had like A-list celebs in Iowa City, Iowa
Dude,
to watch Iowa games.
Exactly, in Iowa.
Travis Scott went. My brother went to Iowa, so go Hawks.
I mean, we're from Missouri, so I think we can.
Yeah.
I mean, I got in trouble for talking
You did?
smack on Detroit, Cincinnati, or was it Cleveland? It was Cleveland.
And then you try to make it up by talking about you said you liked Boston.
I loved Boston. I really do like Boston. I was just saying, if you're gonna like expand our league, then like go put it in Nashville. You know how much fun people would have in Nashville, and then like Miami. You're next to the beach. Like people are gonna be excited to go there. I'm not saying that people from Detroit or Cleveland are bad people. People literally took it like that. I'm
know.
like, you guys are being freaking drama.
That's the internet, though.
Sophie witnessed all of this firsthand and reached her breaking point. While other players stayed silent or even participated in the targeting, she decided enough was enough. The transformation from role player to Clark's fierce protector didn't happen overnight, but when it did, it completely changed the dynamic of the entire.
I know that's how it was sold to the media, but that's just not how capitalism works. The WNBA was created for one reason and one reason only: make money, which is something this unmonetizable turd has failed to achieve in the last 30 years. To make matters worse, when they finally had the opportunity to turn a profit, when they finally had the opportunity to shift from pesos to dollars, when they stumble upon the golden goose, the cash cow, instead of milking the money out of the cash cow, jealous WNBA players, they try to butcher.
Everything came to a head during that infamous Connecticut Sun game. With seconds left on the clock, Sophie committed what officials called a flagrant foul. But what really happened was so much more complex. She saw J.C. Sheldon approaching Clark in a way that triggered every protective instinct she had developed over months of watching her teammate get brutalized. The resulting brawl became instant internet gold, but it also revealed something much deeper about the culture problem plaguing women's basketball.
I think it's also ironic that, well, Caitlin Clark plays for the Indiana Fever.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if a lot of people would consider Indiana to be the biggest. But I mean, it is now.
It is.
Wouldn't you say?
Because of her.
Yeah.
Literally. Yeah. But we love the Midwest. We love where we're from.
What's playing with Caitlin been like for you? Or like, what's something that her as a teammate like? Not something that's like on ESPN, but
Dude, she's just goofy.
yeah,
Like she's goofy, and like I think that's everyone expects her to be a certain way, and she is on the court. But like she's low key a kid. Like she's 23 years old. Like
Yeah.
she's like.
The footage went viral within hours, and suddenly everyone had an opinion about Sophie's actions. But here's what most people missed. This wasn't about one play or one moment of frustration. This was the culmination of an entire season of Sophie watching officials turn a blind eye while her teammate got targeted game after game. She had repeatedly tried to bring attention to the issue through proper channels, only to be ignored or dismissed.
Sophie, if they didn't like you then, they sure aren't going to like you now. Sophie Cunningham has been making waves with the new podcast that she is now featured in, courtesy of The Volume. Sophie Cunningham letting it all out and not holding back one bit. She calls out the old guard. She calls out the people out there who refuse to say Caitlin Clark is the face of the league. People who would rather say this person and that person. What about her? What about her? No, there is only one face of the WNBA. There's only one person that has casuals sitting down in front of a TV, glued to their sofa, watching the WNBA.
Then came the petition. Some keyboard warriors actually started a Change.org campaign to get Sophie completely removed from the league. The petition claimed she had tarnished the reputation of the WNBA and compromised the safety of other players. The irony was thick enough to cut with a knife. They wanted to ban the one player actually trying to protect someone's safety. The petition barely scraped together 200 signatures, but it revealed just how disconnected some fans are from reality.
Shout out to Sophie Cunningham, aka the Pink Power Ranger, and Wes Wilson. They have a podcast called Show Me Something that they just launched. And yeah, I'm tuned in. So look, what we all been witnessing right before our eyes about our precious CC, my precious CC, Caitlin Clark. For the ones who didn't know. So basically, she was saying that when they was preparing, when she was on the other team before she came to the Indiana Fever, we talking about Sophie.
What makes this even more ridiculous is that Sophie wasn't just defending Clark out of friendship or loyalty. She was defending the league's biggest asset, the player single-handedly responsible for bringing casual fans to women's basketball for the first time in decades. Economic analysts have proven that Clark contributed over 26% of the WNBA's entire 2024 economy. We're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue, television ratings, and merchandise sales.
Sophie Cunningham also talks about how teams target being rough with Caitlin Clark. We got to toughen her up. We got to rough her up a little bit. We got to really show her what it's like over here in the WNBA. And Sophie Cunningham says there's how we treat rookies, and then we had to add a little something extra for Caitlin Clark. She also talks about defending Caitlin Clark in that viral Connecticut Sun game and what the locker room chatter was between her and Caitlin Clark after that game.
Yet somehow, acknowledging this basic business reality has become controversial within WNBA circles. Players and commentators tie themselves in knots, trying to avoid giving Clark credit, as if admitting she's the face of the league somehow diminishes everyone else's accomplishments. Sophie cut through all that nonsense with surgical precision on her podcast, essentially saying what everyone with functioning brain cells already knew.
Sophie Cunningham milking this Caitlin Clark friendship like a cow. She was on somebody's podcast and said, when people try to argue she's not the face of the league, you're dumb as shit. Now, mind you, face of the league and most popular are two different things. I don't think she's the face of the league, but I think she's the most popular.
The league office tried to silence Sophie's criticism by hitting her with a $500 fine for a TikTok video where she jokingly called out the referees. Think about that for a second. They fined her for making a joke on social media while doing absolutely nothing about players who were literally trying to injure their biggest star. The priorities couldn't be more backwards if they tried.
Sophie Cunningham said it perfectly. She didn't pull no punches about it. And I guarantee you, it's going to be some people out there that's going to try to take it as disrespect. All she dissing Caitlyn. She saying we don't need her. Like, nope, that ain't what she said. All she said was, if Caitlyn is on the court, that is great. We know how to play with her.
Behind closed doors, the reaction to Sophie's podcast comments has been fascinating to watch. Some players are privately agreeing with her while publicly staying neutral, afraid to rock the boat or face backlash from the old guard. Others are doubling down on their jealousy, still convinced that somehow diminishing Clark will elevate their own profiles. It's created this weird atmosphere where everyone knows the truth, but only one person is brave enough to say it out loud.
And one thing I like about Sophie is that she's tough. So when Caitlin Clark last week, or not last week, a couple days ago, when Caitlin Clark got destroyed, her girl Sophie came to her defense, and this was the most beast mode thing that I've seen a woman do in WNBA. A little bit of LeBron James-esque type behavior. LeBron James literally flops every time somebody touch him. And I think that Caitlin Clark flopped a little bit. I'm just saying, she kind of drastic. You know, eyes, oh, my eyeballs. And then they hit her and she fly across the... I don't think that girl that's number 3 ain't that strong.
Sophie's willingness to speak honestly has made her incredibly popular with fans who were getting tired of the passive-aggressive nonsense that had become the norm. Her follower count has exploded, her jersey sales have skyrocketed, and suddenly everyone wants to hear what she has to say next. The irony is that by defending Clark, she's elevated her own profile more than years of solid but unremarkable play ever could have. This whole situation has exposed a fundamental problem with how the WNBA operates. For too long, the league has prioritized feelings over business sense, allowing petty jealousies to override basic logic. Sophie's comments weren't just about defending one player, they were about defending the future of women's professional basketball. If the league continues to alienate its biggest draw through incompetence and jealousy, everyone loses. The uncomfortable truth that nobody wants to discuss is that Sophie might be the only completely honest voice left in the entire league. While others are busy crafting carefully worded statements and walking on eggshells, she's out here telling it like it is. That kind of authenticity is rare in professional sports, where everything gets filtered through PR teams and corporate messaging. Looking ahead, Sophie has essentially drawn a line in the sand. She's made it clear that she'll continue protecting Clark regardless of fines, petitions, or criticism from jealous players and clueless fans. That kind of loyalty is exactly what the WNBA needs more of. Players who understand that lifting up the league's biggest stars benefits everyone, not just the stars themselves. The real question now is whether other players will follow Sophie's lead and start speaking honestly about what's best for the league, or if they'll continue living in a fantasy world where pretending Clark isn't special somehow makes everyone else more special. Based on early reactions to the podcast, it seems like Sophie might have started something that can't be stopped. At the end of the day, Sophie Cunningham just did what great teammates do. She had her star players back when nobody else would. The fact that this became controversial says everything you need to know about the current state of women's professional basketball. Sometimes the truth hurts, but somebody has to say it.